Good morning. We're going to work on the upper torso today. If you would like to begin by lying on your roller to open the chest, go ahead and do that. Also, quite fine to just lie flat on the floor. If you're going to use a roller, make sure you sit at the very bottom of it so that the back of the head is supported on the roller. And feel free, if your chin is jumped to the ceiling, to put your little towel behind your head here to lengthen the back of the neck. Whether you're on the floor or the roller, you want to have the back of the neck long. So let's take a moment just to settle. I hope that you know by now that I'm a really big fan of lying on the back with the knees bent. Arms a little bit wider than the mat, palms turned up. Even just doing that without the roller is a really nice way to release tension in the upper body. The roller just gives us a little extra stretch across the chest. So either way is great. So we're going to concentrate on strengthening the upper back and opening the chest. Work a bit on the shoulder girdle. The reason that I have you turn your palms up when you're lying in this position is it helps you to have an external rotation in the upper arm, which seats the humeral head more deeply into the socket. When we're in that habitual slunched forward position called kyphosis, when your back rounds forward, the arms tend also to get thrown forward and the ball gets displaced from its best alignment in the socket. So turning it out in the socket helps to get the humeral head back in where it's supposed to be. We'll bring the arms a bit closer to the center line. Keep your palms facing each other. This too helps to have an external rotation in the shoulder. If you turn your palms down, you're going to be internally rotating at the shoulder and it starts to close the chest. So let's keep the palms facing each other. And we're going to bring the arms up to vertical for a moment and just hang out here. Again, you may have noticed that this is a position that I really recommend. If you're on the roller, you can feel your shoulder blades dropping down around the roller. If you're on the floor, you want to feel the shoulder blades nice and flat and broad on the floor. And in either case, the humeral heads are dropping down into the sockets. The gravity is helping you to find that best relationship between the arm and the shoulder joint. Now we're going to make some very small and slow circles here. And on each circle, think of the arm bone going a little bit more deeply down into that shoulder socket. And then circle a few times the other way. And then still the arms so that the hands are directly above your shoulders. Continue to drop the humeral heads down into the joint. Relax across the front of the chest and across the upper back. I'm going to keep the arms here as we start engaging the inner core. Bring the attention down to the pelvic floor, picturing that diamond of the pelvic floor as you inhale, and exhale, gathered into the center. And then relax with the inhale. Let the chest expand with the breath in. Relax the shoulders. Bring your attention down to your belt. And exhale, gather that transversus around the low torso. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And then relax that with the inhale. Return your attention to the pelvic floor. And with the exhale, shrink the pelvic floor in towards the perineum. And relax with the inhale. Return your attention to the belt of the transversus. And gently gather it around, snugly across the front of the hips. And then relax with the inhale. Once again, return to the pelvic floor. Exhale, shrink the diamond, squeeze the sphincters, keep the shoulders relaxed. Maintain that for a moment. You can breathe and maintain the pelvic floor. And release. Neck and shoulders still relaxed. Bring your attention to the transverses. And exhale, gently wrap it around. And we're going to maintain that as well for a breath or two. Shoulders are relaxed. Belt is snug around the hips. And then relax that effort. Okay, we'll use the inner core to stabilize for our arm lifts. We're beginning with the arms in this vertical position, so the ball is way down in the socket. And if you can picture the physics of this, really what we're doing is rolling the ball in the socket, and that has the effect of moving the whole arm. So I'd like you to keep your attention right at the shoulder and just picture the ball with the stick, which is the arm, rolling at it. But keep your attention on the ball part rather than the end of the stick, which would be the hands. So we inhale, prepare for the inner core. And shrink it down. Good. Maintain the inner core as you breathe in. And then renew it and roll the ball in the socket, moving the arms back towards the floor without you, behind you, not without you, without letting go of your inner core. And then roll the ball in the socket to float the arms up towards the ceiling. And then we'll bring the arms down to the sides. Palms are still facing each other. And then just relax everything for a moment, soften. And then let's float the arms up to vertical again with the inhale. Drop the ball into the socket. Exhale, engage the inner core and roll the ball. Picture the ball rolling. The arm is just a stick attached to that ball and it reaches back because you're rolling the ball. Keep the ball in the socket and float the arms back up towards the ceiling. And then relax your arms down by your sides. Once again, inhale, arms float up, ball more deeply into the socket when your arms are vertical. See if you can notice that. And then exhale, engage the inner core and keep the ball in the socket. Now I want you to picture a ping pong ball being sucked into a vacuum cleaner. That's the way I want your humeral head to suck into the socket. And keep that sense of sucking the ball into the socket as the arms float up towards the ceiling. And then relax for a moment. And then we're going to re-engage at the inner core and roll the ball out so the palms are towards the ceiling. Arms are opening wide to a T position. And bring the arms to where they're comfortable and then relax. And we're stretching across the front of the armpits. A little more stretch across the front of the chest. Let everything relax. Feel how when you breathe in, the stretch is increased a little bit as the rib cage expands. Now I want to move very carefully to come out of this stretch. I want you to think again of that ball being sucked into a vacuum cleaner. Draw the humeral heads towards each other. Re-engage your low core and then float the arms up towards the ceiling by rolling the balls and keeping the balls rolling in towards each other the whole time. And then we'll lower the arms down to the sides. And relax for another moment here. And then we come slowly off of the roller. And then come onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. If you were on the roller, it gives you a little bit of extension in the lower back, so we're just going to ease out the lower back if that feels a bit tight. You can rock from side to side. And then we'll place the feet down on the floor, coming to constructive rest pose. Again, settle the shoulder blades nice and broad away from each other, lengthen the back of the neck. And we'll bring the hands behind the head, interlace the fingers, open the elbows out wide. And we're going to work with the obliques a bit specifically. As you inhale, feel your ribs flare. And as you exhale, I'd like you to take your right ribs, bring them down to your left hip, across the abdomen, and wrap them around to your left back pocket. Keep the elbows wide, the shoulders down, and then inhale, let the ribs flare. Then we're going to do the opposite diagonal. As you exhale, start from your left ribs and draw them down across the abdomen to the right hip, and then wrap them all the way around to the right back pocket. And inhale, let the ribs flare. Again, we're going to take the right ribs to the left back pocket. Exhale and reach the right ribs down in the diagonal and wrap them around to the left back pocket. And inhale, let the ribs flare. And exhale, take the left ribs and reach them all the way down and around to the right back pocket. And then release and relax. I'm going to take a break from the front ribs and do a little imprinting of the back ribs. You can keep the spine neutral. And as you exhale, imprint the back ribs down into the mat. So that does not require you to flatten your back. And then relax. If you're working with a flat back already, of course, feel free to add the imprint, but please be able to separate those two motions. Exhale, imprint the back ribs down into the mat. And inhale, let the ribs flare. I want to do a little different visualization on the front. As you exhale, think of your right ribs moving down to your right back pocket. So the same side, right ribs down to the right back pocket. This is also a way to get some of the internal obliques going. And inhale, let the ribs flare. And now please think of the left ribs reaching down around to the left back pocket. And inhale, let the ribs flare. I'm going to add one thing. All of your ribs, left and right, reaching to the right back pocket. And inhale, let the ribs flare. And then exhale, all of the ribs, right and left, reaching down in the diagonal to the left back pocket. And relax with the inhale. Let's do some head lifts. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, engage the inner core, wrap the ribs, imprint them, and take your head lift. And inhale, lower back down, and we'll do that twice more. Stable pelvis and spine as you exhale and lift. And inhale to lower. One more time, exhale to lift, and we're going to keep the lift and do the crazy fish. Make sure your elbows are still out wide, your sternum's facing the ceiling, your inner core is still engaged, and you exhale, side bend. Left elbow towards the left hip, and inhale back into the center, and then exhale, side bend the other way. Right elbow towards the right hip, and inhale back into the center, and again, let's go to the left, exhale, and inhale. So you're gliding the shoulder girdle across the floor, and inhale back to the center. Keep imprinting one more time each way. Exhale, side bend, inhale, center, and exhale the other way. And inhale, center. And then relax your head down. I'm going to take the arms up towards the ceiling. I'm going to use a weight for this next exercise. This is a 5-pound weight, which is too heavy for most of the exercises that we do, but we can use it for this one. If you have a 1 or a 2-pound weight, or a bottle of water, or nothing for that matter, you can still do this exercise. So we'll do one arm at a time. I'm going to stretch the right arm up towards the ceiling. The left arm should be relaxed at the side with the palm up. With your right hand, you can hold a weight if you like, or don't. And then we're going to lift the weight up towards the ceiling and allow the shoulder to peel up off of the floor. And then settle the shoulder down very slowly. Move in slow motion. And then drop the humeral head into the socket. And then let's do that again. Reach up. Let the shoulder peel up off of the mat and then slowly settle it down. Let the weight help the humeral head drop into the socket. Should feel when you get your arm down into the socket, the shoulder blade is nice and broad on the back. Let's do that again. Reach up. And drop the shoulder. Settle the humeral head down into the socket. Let's do it twice more. Stretch up. And settle. The left shoulder staying relaxed the whole time. One more time. Reach up. And slowly settle. This is an exercise for the serratus anterior, which is a muscle that is really underused in our culture. Let's switch to the left arm. It helps to stabilize your shoulder blades on your back, and it's activated by pushing away from you, like we're doing here, or by raising your arms up overhead. So think about how many times in the day you do those two movements. Not often. It's not really part of the daily routine necessarily. Okay, so we're going to do the left arm. We're going to stretch the arm up to the ceiling, and then settle the shoulder blade and drop the humeral head. And again, stretch up. And then slowly lower the shoulder girdle, the shoulder blade, and let the arm settle. And push up to the ceiling. If you have the weight, by the way, make sure your wrist is straight. And drop the arm down into the socket. Right shoulder staying relaxed. Twice more. Reach it up. Push up to the ceiling. And then settle back down. And one more time. And then let's place the weight down off to the side. So if you tend to have a lot of tension in your shoulders, it's very nice to do some of these exercises with the arms up. And if you have a 1 or 2 pound weight, it's also good to have something in your hands to give you a little bit of groundedness in the shoulders. So let's do the alternate leg lift with our arms reached up into vertical, shoulders relaxed. If you happen to have 2 hand weights or 2 water bottles, feel free to use those in your hands. We'll bring our attention back down to the inner core, and then knit both sets of ribs to the opposite back pockets, imprint the back ribs, and keep very stable in the torso, relaxed in the shoulder girdle, and lift the right foot up. Then let's flex the foot and extend the leg out, knitting the ribs together even a little bit more firmly. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Bend the knee and re-anchor. Stay stable in the low torso, relaxed in the shoulders as the right foot goes down. And then we'll take the left leg up. Be sure you're still imprinting. Left foot up. Flex your foot, extend out through the heel. And bend the knee. Re-anchor. Keep dropping the shoulders. And lower the foot down. Stay steady across the pelvis. Stay knitted and imprinted in the ribs and over to the right side. And exhale, flex and extend. Easy in the shoulders, bend the knee. And re-anchor, lower back down. Pelvis is stable. Reconnect with the inner core, left foot up. Exhale, flex, extend. And bend the knee and keep anchoring in the low belly. Keep soft in the shoulders. Do that right leg one more time. And reach out through the heel. Bend the knee and re-anchor as you lower the foot. And then last time with the left foot. And reach out through the heel. And anchor as you lower the foot. And now I'm going to bring the arms into a cactus position, bringing the backs of the arms and the hands, if you can, down onto the floor. If your hands don't touch, just keep your wrists straight rather than bending back at the wrist to try to get there. You'll get a better you'll get an equal opening effect in the shoulders and not strain your wrist. So keep the wrist straight whether the backs of the hands are on the mat or not. We're going to engage the inner core, knit and imprint, and then press the backs of the arms down into the mat, and then relax. And again, press the backs of the arms down into the mat, and relax. Now, if the floor wasn't there, you would be doing an active external rotation. This is asymmetric, but you're rolling out in the shoulder socket again here. And press down into the floor with the backs of the arms, back of the hands. One more time. And then relax. Now we're going to keep the arms here unless this is troublesome for your shoulders. If so, go back into the vertical position. And we'll re-engage the inner core, knit and imprint. Lift the right foot up. And lift the left foot up. And we'll go to pistons. Exhale to lower the foot. And inhale to bring it up. And exhale to lower the other foot. And inhale, bring it up. And exhale, lower down. Now feel those back ribs. Keep them imprinted and keep the backs of the arms down, working down towards the floor. Only one leg moves at a time. Take it in slow motion. Exhale down and inhale up. And exhale down and inhale up. Again, exhale down, inhale up. Last one. Hands on the knees, and we'll take a break. Relax the shoulders, flop the knees, and circle the legs. And reverse the circles. Hug the knees into the chest. Drop your shoulders. Reestablish your neutral spine. Arms wide, palms up, shoulders relaxed. Anchor the inner core, knit and imprint, and lower the right foot down. Keep it down, bring the left foot down. Reset the inner core, imprint, knit, lift the left, and lift the right. Stay there, arms to the sides, palms down in preparation for the 100. Reconnect with the inner core. Wrap that belt around, knit and imprint, press the palms down, lift your head, chin into the chest, extend the legs out, and exhale, pulse. 5 pulses while you exhale, and 5 while you inhale. You want your arms very straight, elbows straight, and inhale. Exhale as though you're actually pressing down into something, and at the same time, drop your shoulders down towards the floor and away from the ear. Exhale for 5 pulses. And inhale. Exhale, chin stays into the chest, eyes on the thighs. Exhale for 5. If your neck gets tired, put your head down rather than letting your chin open up towards the ceiling. And one more set. Exhale. And inhale. And then bring the knees to the chest. Hug the knees. Rest your head down and turn your head slowly from one side to the other. Keeping the knees into the chest, we'll bring the arms out wide with the palms up, and then move into a spinal twist, bringing both legs over to the left side. Let's bring the left hand onto the right knee. Bring the right hand down towards the hip. Head faces towards the ceiling, and then we're going to turn the palm up and drag the fingertips along the floor, and the right fingertips in a wide arc. Just go as high as you can go as your fingertips on the floor, or maybe just a hair above the floor. And feel the range of motion in the shoulder, and then bring the arm back down. Nice big sweep. When you get to shoulder height, turn your palm down. And then when you get back down to the hip, turn your palm up and drag the fingertips along the floor again. Stretching out. Good, just find the appropriate range of motion. It might not look anything like what I'm doing. And sweep back down. One more time, keep the fingertips on the mat or very close to the floor at least. And sweep wide. And finish by sweeping back down. And then we bring the knees into the chest. Give the knees a hug, relax the shoulders, relax the neck. And then we'll bring both knees over to the right side. Use the right hand on the left knee and place your left hand down at the floor. It's going to be actually on your mat, close into you. Then turn your palm up, head is in the center, and you're going to drag your left fingertips out towards T position, maybe above it. Honor what your shoulder's doing. And then bring it back down. When you get to T position, you're going to turn your palm down for the rest of the sweep. And turn the left palm to the ceiling. Fingertips on the mat, or at least close to the mat. Nice big arc. Reach out to wherever you get a good stretch in your shoulder, armpit, and then lower back down. And let's do that one more time. Big sweep out. And sweep back down. And then bring the knees into the chest. And give the knees a hug and rock on the sacrum a bit, or turn your neck, relax the shoulders in either case. And then let's return to a neutral rest position for a moment. And we're going to go onto the belly to work on some thoracic extension. I said this last week, but let me say this again. We have 5 lumbar vertebrae, so that lower back curve. Those are big, chunky vertebrae. And then we have 12 thoracic vertebrae, which begin about at the bottom of the rib cage and go to the base of the neck, so there are 12 there. And then we have 7 cervical. So 5 lumbar plus 7 cervical curving this way. And then 12 thoracic, which have a curve in the opposite direction, a long, gentle curve. Unfortunately, that long, gentle curve often gets to be quite dramatic forward curve. And then what happens is that the foreneck goes like this, so the cervical vertebrae get compressed. We're actually overstretched in our upper backs and tight in the neck often. So when I say thoracic extension, I'm talking about opening between the navel and the pit of the throat, but particularly around the sternum. If we just do a back bend where we really accentuate the lower back curve, but don't open the chest, we're not actually getting any benefit there. So we want the opposite, where the lower back curve can stay long, and then the chest can open up from there. That's what I'm aiming to deliver to you as we do this work on the belly. Please start with your hands underneath your forehead, legs comfortably relaxed. Allowing the front of the body to take some length here as you relax into the floor. Now we're doing extension, and it's the lower back wants to do this motion, and so do the legs and the buttocks. That's their job. The backs of the legs and the buttocks, that's their job. So we're going to start by adding them in and then gradually take them out. Bring your forehead down to the floor. Bring your arms down to your sides with the palms up. And we're going to begin by lifting everything up so you can feel the engagement of the buttocks, the hamstrings, the engagement, the shortening of the lower back. That all goes with the thoracic extension. And then we're going to try to take the lower body out of the equation. So let's find the inner core, lift the ribs together, And then lift everything up. Lift your head, your chest, your arms, your legs. Squeeze your shoulder blades so you feel a lot of engagement in the whole line of the back of the body. And then lower back down and let it relax. And do the same thing again. Find your inner core first, glide your ribs together, and then lift everything up. Include squeezing your shoulder blades. And lower back down and relax. Once more. Engage low, glide the ribs and lift. And release back down. Okay, some of you right now already might want to take a child's pose. So if you need to release your lower back, go into a child's pose for a moment. If you can relax the lower back and the buttocks just by extending out straight here, go ahead and do that. I'll give you a moment to stretch the lower back as necessary. And when you're ready, come back into this front lying position. We're going to bring the arms to the cactus that we did before. So you can turn your head and rest your cheek on the floor, or you can have we're going to turn the head and rest the cheek on the floor. The arms are wide, your elbows are going to be on the mat. I'd like you to please relax your legs. Engage the pelvic floor and the belt of the transversus. Keep your legs relaxed. And raise your chest and your head. Turn your head into the center. Just a tiny movement. So my nose is only a couple inches maybe from the floor and it's pointing straight down. And then I'm going to turn my head and lower everything down and turn my head the opposite direction and lower everything down. So release here. Keeping the buttocks soft, engage the pelvic floor. Feel your belt wrap around. Knit your ribs together, and then again, lift the chest and the head up, trying to do as little as possible with the legs and buttocks. Breastbone is lifted, but the low ribs are down, the elbows are down, and then you're going to turn your head and lower down and relax everything. Again, inner core first, glide the ribs, and lift. Just a small bit of lift. We don't want to feel the lower back compressing here. And then lower, turning the head and relax. And set up the inner core again. If you're feeling compression in the lower back, go ahead and take a little pelvic tilt and lengthen the lower back more. Lift the head and chest. And lower back down. Now we're going to work that a little bit more deeply. Relax everything. Re-engage the inner core and knit the ribs. And do that same small lift of the upper body. And then now press into the elbows and draw the breastbone forward away from the navel. And then tuck your chin towards your chest, which is going to feel quite odd. Knit your ribs together and lower down halfway to the floor. And then without untucking your chin, press into the elbows and draw your breastbone a little farther away from your navel. And hopefully you can feel some work in the upper back. And then we're going to lower down, turn the head the other way, relax completely. And then reset the inner core. Glide the ribs together. Do your small head lift, your little thoracic extension. And press down into the elbows and pull the chest forward. You're not going to move your arms, but it's almost like you're trying to drag yourself forward. And then tuck your chin down, lower halfway down towards the floor. Knit your ribs together a little bit more firmly. And then without untucking your chin, press your hands, or drag your hands against the floor and lift your breastbone forward away from the navel and find a bit more work in the upper back. And then release. And we're going to bring the hands under the forehead. Again, if you need to take a child's pose to release your lower back, feel free to do that. going to bring the arms now straight forward. Superman position, forehead on the floor, back of the neck long. Again, relax the lower body. Engage the inner core, glide the ribs, keep your elbows down and lift your chest and head up off of the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Feel your chest open. Try to keep the legs and buttocks relaxed, and the lower back should not feel overly compressed, and lower back down. Relax everything, and let's do it again. Inner core, glide the ribs, elbows stay down, lift the chest and head, draw your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. Keep the back of the neck long. And then lower back down, soften. One more time. Key here is drawing the shoulder blades down the back as you knit the ribs together in the front. Sternum drawing away from the navel. And lower back down. Okay, we're going to move into a child's pose for a moment. Stretch the back out again. And then inhale and lift up onto all fours. Press your palms down onto the floor and lift your breastbone away from the navel, just as you were just doing. Don't let your lower back or your shoulders collapse or your neck extend. So if you look at me now, don't do this. You want to see breastbone forward. Yes, you can have your throat open a little bit without compressing the lower back. And you're supporting in the lumbar spine, pushing down through the arms. And then let's tuck your tail and your arms and move your hips back to your heels. Lower back gently stretching, upper back relaxing, and come forward again. We're going to press down into the hands. Keep supporting around the low core. Draw your sternum away from your navel. You can open the front of the throat gently, but don't tilt your chin all the way forward. Your eyes should still be down on your mat. And move the hips back to the heels, again to stretch the lower back. Relax the upper back. And one more time. Move to all fours. Keep that belt supporting and open your chest. And then move back to child's pose last time. Okay, we're going to work on the obliques a little bit more, and then we'll come back to some more work on the thorax. So I'm going to lie on the left side with the knees comfortably bent. Neck and shoulders relaxed. Feel free to have a blanket inserted between your arm and your ear, or even if you need to, your arm can go forward and you can rest your head on a blanket there. Everything easy, relaxing into gravity. And engage your inner core and take an organ lift. And then maintain your organ lift and stretch your legs out straight. Renew your inner core and your organ lift. Lift both legs up. And then lower both legs 90% of the way back down. And lift up again. If you need your fingertips on the mat, please do that rather than stressing out the neck and shoulders. Exhale and lift both legs up and bring them slowly back down. Easing the neck and shoulders, controlling in the core. Exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Exhale up and inhale back down. Exhale up and maintain, and then flex the feet and squeeze the toes. Point the feet, fan the toes, and flex back. Squeeze, point, fan, and flex. Squeeze, point, fan, open those toes, and flex, and then reverse it. Keep your toes open, stretch out, and reach, squeeze the toes, and pull back. Open, reach, squeeze, and pull back. Last time. And relax back down. Bend your knees back to that 45-degree flexion, nice easy hook lying position. I'm going to bring the right elbow to rest right on the waist. Gentle fist, or you can use your 1 or 2 pound weight here, not a 5 pound, I think that's too much, but 1 or 2 would be okay. Engage your inner core, gently your organ lift, and then we're going to externally rotate the arm. Keep the elbow on the side and lift slowly to the ceiling. We're going to do 3 sets of 5. Again here you're rolling the ball in the socket. So you're going to be aware that the movement's actually happening in the shoulder joint. Neck and shoulders stay relaxed. One more set of 5. And then right arm, wherever it's comfortable, can rest on the floor or up on your top hip. Check the alignment of the pelvis. Roll the right hip forward slightly. You want to look at your knees and see them lined up, or even the right knee a little bit farther forward than the left. Find your pelvic floor. Feel your belt wrap around. And then we're going to do 3 sets of 5 here as well. Rolling the leg out in the socket. Keeping the pelvis very still, working in the right buttock and trying to do as little as possible in the left leg. So if you feel like you're really pushing off and engaging with the left leg, see if that can soften down into the mat. If you engage your belt a little bit more snugly, that will help. And we relax, and we're going to displace the left knee slightly forward. Use your right fingertips. Come up into a mermaid sit. Right sit bone's off the floor, but drop it towards the floor. We're going to put the right hand on the right foot. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Take your left arm out to the side. First, just reach up. Feel your armpit rather than your shoulder, but your armpit reaching up away from your left sit bone. And then pull your ribs together and then towards the right side. Try to keep your left arm straight, or you can curve it a little bit, but don't let it bend. You'll lose some of the impact of the stretch if you let your elbow bend. You can press off of your right foot and roll your breastbone towards the ceiling. You can even turn your head if you like. And then sit tall. Left hand's going down to the floor, sliding away so you get your elbow down. Before we stretch, drop your right sit bone down towards the mat, not onto the mat, but towards the mat. I'm going to reach the right arm up and over. Keep the arm straight. Drop your right sit bone towards the floor. Reach your armpit away from it. Spiral your breastbone towards the ceiling. Try looking up and breathe into the stretch of the right side. Keep the chest open. Try not to collapse into that bottom arm, but push off away from your forearm. And then bring yourself up tall. Pivot a quarter turn. We're going to straighten the legs out. Take the arms directly in front of the shoulder joints. Drop them away from your ears and feel the ball go back into the socket. Engage the inner core. Scoop the belly in. Tuck your tail between your legs. Roll yourself down very slowly. See if you can feel the sacrum coming down. Relax the shoulders as you move through the lumbar. Feel your back ribs coming down. Keep imprinting. Come all the way down. Reach the arms behind you. Relax and take a big stretch. And then engage the inner core. Let's flatten the lower back down and imprint the back ribs. And then relax. And turn to the right side with the legs comfortably bent. Left hand up on the waist. Arrange your neck and shoulders. Engage your inner core and take an organ lift. Maintain your organ lift and straighten your legs out. Again, your hand can rest on your waist or the fingertips can go onto the mat. Make sure your neck and shoulders are relaxed. Use the strength of the core, not the shoulders, to exhale and lift both legs up and lower them almost all the way down, but not quite. And again, lift and lower. And keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Feet a little forward of the hips, please. If you let your legs go behind you, you're going to be using too much lumbar extension. Then we're going to come up and stay and flex the feet. Squeeze the toes, point the feet, fan the toes and flex. Squeeze, point, fan, flex, squeeze, point, fan, flex. Keep your toes open, reach and squeeze and come back. Open, reach, squeeze and come back. Last time. And release. Move to a comfortable 45-degree hook lying position. Left elbow on the left waist. Use a small hand weight if you like. External rotation. We're going to keep the elbow snug and roll the arm out in the socket. 3 sets of 5. But keep your attention on the shoulder and the elbow. Wrist is straight, by the way, please. Check your neck and shoulders. 1 more set of 5. And then we'll rest the arm wherever it's comfortable. Check the alignment of the pelvis. Rock it slightly forward in the top so that your left knee is just a hair forward of your right. Snug your belt around your hips, and we'll do 3 sets of 5 here. Emphasizing the work in the left buttock, relaxing the right leg as much as possible. Neck and shoulders comfortable and relaxed. The work's coming from the left buttock, and the support's coming from your transversus belt. When you're done, we'll displace the right knee a little forward and use the left fingertips to push up into the mermaid. Again, left sit bone's not going to be on the floor, but drop it in the direction of the floor. We'll take the left hand onto the left foot and reach up with the right arm, not the shoulder, but the arm. And then glide your ribs together and bend toward your left side. Keep your right arm as straight as you can. You can open your chest and, if you like, look up. And then sit tall. Bring the right hand down to the floor, slide it away so your forearm's resting on the mat. Try not to sink into that right shoulder, but rather push into the floor to keep the space between the right ear and the right shoulder nice and open. Drop your left sit bone down. Take your left arm and reach up and over. Arm straight. Stretch your left sit bone down towards the floor and the armpit reaches away from it. Spiral your chest, breastbone towards the ceiling, look up. Keep pushing off of your right forearm. And then we'll come up tall. And again, pivot on the mat. Extend the legs straight out in front of you. Arms in front of you. Hands are in line with the shoulder joints. Imagine if you're lying on the back, the ball is in the socket. Do the same thing here. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Engage the inner core. Scoop the belly in. Roll down, and I want you to pause when you get to the sacrum. Keeping the feet on the floor. Scoop the belly in. See if you can pause as well when you get to the back ribs. Keep those shoulders relaxed. If you need your hands on your legs, you can do that. See if you can pause with the back ribs and still continue to soften your shoulders. Your belly scooping in. And then release the rest of the way. Big stretch. And then engage the inner core. Tilt the pelvis and flatten the lower back and print the back ribs. And then relax. Let's bring the arms up into neutral, which means 90 degrees up towards the ceiling. And bend the knees to return to the constructive rest pose for a moment. We're going to take a quick trip through the abdominal series and then get back to the shoulder girdle a little bit. So let's find inner core. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Raise the right foot. And keep imprinting as you bring the left foot up. Single leg stretch. I want both hands to come onto one knee. I want you, before you don't do anything else, place both hands on one leg and drop the shoulders down at the same time. Then reconnect with your core. Lift your head. Keep that same ease in the shoulders as you extend your other leg out straight. And just lift your elbows up a bit. And then switch. The shoulder girdle stays nice and steady and relaxed. Broad across the chest. Elbows wide. Just gently touch the knee that's bending. Of course, you're not pulling in, but you want to keep a sense of lightness in the upper body. And then bring the knees into the chest, put your head down and relax your neck for a moment. Make sure your shoulders drop. And then let's return to our neutral position. Neutral spine, head lift. Hands gently touching the knees, drop the shoulders. Engage the core, especially imprint, and extend the legs and the arms for the double leg stretch. Bend the knees, circle the arms. We're going to keep the chin into the chest. Exhale, reach away from the center and inhale, come in. If your neck is tired, put your head down. It would be great if you had a blanket or something to put behind your head when you bring it down so it's not all the way flat. Exhale, reach out, and inhale, come around one more time. Exhale, and inhale, head down. Gently hug the knees, relax the neck. And let's go back into our neutral position. Drop the shoulders in preparation for the single straight leg. Engage the inner core. Knit and imprint. Lift the head. One leg straight up, one leg straight out. Lift the elbows and switch. Shoulders drop. Elbows lifted high and wide. And bring the knees to the chest. Rest your head down. Relax for a moment. Hands behind the head, preparing for the double leg stretch. Going to keep the elbows out nice and wide. Establish your steady pelvis. Knit and imprint. Extend the legs up. Lift your head, and then the legs will lower a little bit. And come back up, keeping the lower back neutral. Elbows wide. Stay engaged. Both sets of ribs reaching towards their opposite back pocket. Back ribs imprinted. One more time. Bend the knees. Keep your hands behind your head. Just pause for a moment. And then reset your neutral position for the crisscross. Raise the head. Elbows are wide. Legs are going to bicycle. And then we're twisting in the whole shoulder girdle. So keep your elbows wide. Reach the armpit across. Pelvis is stable as we do this big rotation of the upper torso. And let's hug the knees, relax the neck. Then we're going to turn back over onto all fours. So I mentioned that serratus anterior muscle that we were doing with the weight up to the ceiling. It's the muscle that pushes away. So we're going to be pushing away here. It's also the muscle that goes up overhead. I always try to get your arms up overhead, but try to do that during the course of the day. Make sure that you're reaching towards things overhead regularly. Okay, so we're going to have the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees under the hips, and then tuck the toes. Engage the inner core. Make sure you really feel that belt around that low belly so there's no hammock effect. You feel a good, steady support there. And we're going to go into the knee hover. Press down into your hands and just lift the knees an inch or two off the floor. Push the floor away. Push the floor away. And then from here, we're going to move into a downward facing dog. Keep pushing the floor away so your hips come towards the ceiling. You can even keep your knees completely bent like I am here. The idea is to have your arms around your ears, so we're getting that reaching up overhead. And if your hamstrings allow it, then you can straighten the legs, but the point is the upper body. And then we're going to keep pushing the floor away and come into a plank pose. Keep pushing the floor away and bend the knees without touching down to the floor yet. Keep push the floor away. Hover. Re-engage your core. Keep pushing the floor away. And raise your sit bones towards the ceiling. Knees can be totally bent. It's fine. When you get that back nice and long, you want your arms framing your ears. And then we're going to move into the plank again. Keep pushing the floor away, lengthening the crown of the head and the soles of the feet away from each other. Let's do it one more time. Bend the knees without letting them come to the floor. Keep pushing the floor away. And continue to push the floor away as you push your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Lengthen the arms, get them around your ears. And feel that work in the upper back, the opening across the chest. And we come to the plank. And hover the knees. Then lower the knees. We're going to sit ourselves up for a moment, readjusting the head above the heart. And then come slowly up into a standing position. And I believe you all have a piece of TheraBand. So let's just do a little bit of TheraBand work to finish. Stand with the feet parallel to each other. And we're going to hold the TheraBand out in front. So the hands are directly in line with the shoulders. For this one, the palms are face down. We're going to engage the inner core, knit the ribs, and then pull the hands out away from each other, keeping the palms facing the floor, and then let the hands come slowly back in. Make sure you have your inner core working, your ribs knitting. Pull apart and slowly glide back in. Watch that your ears aren't hunching around, your shoulders aren't hunching around your ears. Keep the shoulders dropped, knitting the ribs. Glide away and slowly back in. 2 more times. Last one, stay connected in the core. Now, hands are going to stay in exactly the same spot. We're going to turn the palms up and then bring the elbows directly to the sides. So the hands are in front of the elbows are snug to the sides, palms are turned up now. We're going to keep the elbows snug at the side and open the hands away from each other. This is more external rotation. Keep the palms up, slide the hands wide. Still want the pelvic floor, the belt, the wrapping of the ribs. Twice more. Okay, one more thing here. Let's take the band and stand on it, the ball of the foot on the band, holding the edge the band. Depending on how long your band is, you may need to kind of choke up on it. Then we're going to lift the elbows up around the ears and roll back. Keep your ribs knitting as you drop the shoulders away from the ears. Shrug the shoulders up, roll back, knit the ribs together, and let the band pull the shoulders down. Up, shrug, and open and release. Let's do that twice more. Good, now take a little forward bend. And we're going to get rid of the band, slowly stand up. And we're going to come back onto the roller if you have it. Or if you don't have the roller, you can use the small ball. I showed you this last week. You can take the small ball and put it between your shoulder blades. Or you can just rest on a folded blanket underneath your chest. We're going to finish with a chest opener. So we're going to take the roller across the mat this time instead of lengthwise. Or again, you can use the small ball behind your back, or take a folded blanket and rest it behind your rib cage. If you're using a roller, you're going to hook the bottom of the shoulder blades onto the roller, hands behind the head. Hands behind the head with the ball or the roller. Actually, in any of those cases, you can support the head with the hands. We're going to engage the inner core, knit the ribs together, and then lift the hips up and roll. So if you're on the ball, you're rolling up and down the center of the spine. You can go all the way up to the base of the neck, down to the bottom of the ribs. If you're on the blanket, you can just open out, allowing the chest to open, the shoulders and the head to drop back as far as that's comfortable. And everybody can take a moment to open or keep rolling if you like. Keep supporting the head. Depends how flexible you are. Your hips may come down. Let the chest open wide. Check that you're still breathing. No tension in the neck, so keep supporting the head. And then we're going to engage the inner core. Draw the pubic bone towards the navel. Imprint the back ribs towards the floor. And come up part way. And then we use the hands on the roller or the floor to bring yourself the rest of the way up. Sitting with the knees bent, and we'll just give yourself a gentle forward stretch with the forehead coming towards the knees. Relax the shoulders. And then we'll come slowly up to a standing position, and we'll finish with this very simple maneuver. Maybe that's another one of my favorites. A good standing position, tall through the crown of the head. Thinking at the shoulder joint, we're going to roll the arm out in the socket, which is going to have the result of turning the palms out, but think of what's happening at the shoulder, and then relax. So if you do this every time you get up all the way from the computer or out of the car, or after you've been doing, digging or raking or outside chores, take a break and do this reverse motion. Most of the activities we do put us here. So this is just the opposite. It opens us up and engages the upper back a little bit. Really nice counter pose to almost any activity that you're doing. And then you may feel like you want to just slide your hands down your legs a little bit to give the lower back a bit of a stretch. All right, that's where I leave you. I hope that your upper body is feeling well. If you have a roller, definitely take advantage of it. Lie on it or roll your back out. All right, enjoy this beautiful November day. And we will be in Conquering Hall on Wednesday afternoon again. Okay, thanks. Bye.